1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, Ezra here on the Writer's Fun Zone with my cat, Mr. Invisible Cat. Hey, Mr. Invisible Cat. So we talked about all the tools you need for preparing to write your novel, and now you're sitting there, you have your Alpha Smart, if you have one, and you're ready to write. So, the first sentence of your novel. The first sentence is really important because it's the sentence that captures the reader's attention. It's extremely important to get the first sentence exactly right because, you know, in the Bible, they say that the first sentence of the Bible of Genesis is the most important sentence of all. And the first word of the sentence is the most important word of the entire sentence. And the first letter of that word is the most important thing ever, entirely. So, it's good to be sure you have a good first letter. So here's the thing. Your first sentence is going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. People are going to read it and they're going to say, oh my gosh, I have to read the rest of this book now. But you're not going to write it now. You're going to write a crappy first sentence. So, if you don't know what to write, you write, I don't know what to write. I used to know what to write, but then I bought tight pants and now I can't think anymore. So, you know, you just run off whatever's on the top of your head. So, the next thing is this. Something else to try is you can try with starting it this way. Once upon a time. And then just take off from there. There were 3 file cabinets, but only one was named Joe. The others were not named because, silly, they were file cabinets. Okay, so, you know, once upon a time, just take off from there. The next thing is you come along and you're grooving away, you're doing great, and maybe you come to a point where the characters, what are they doing? It's just, what is it? It's boring, you know? So you have like character get on the bus, like Joe, the file cabinet, gets on the bus and sits next to a man in a suit. The man says, hello, what's your name? And Joe says, my name's Joe. Now, at this point, you're going, oh my gosh, who wants to read this dialogue of, hi, what's your name? Oh, my name's Joe, blah, blah, blah. So then, either do one of two things. Say, I am bored writing these words, okay? Because just express how you feel. Or, you can have the protagonist express how you feel. So, the man said, what's your name? And the file cabinet said, you're boring me. And the man laughed and said, no, really, what's your name? And Joe said, I'm the guy who's going to kill you for making me so bored. Okay, so you just express how you feel. And then maybe it comes to a point where, you know, maybe you're doing NaNoWriMo, you know, you got to write 50,000 words. So you've got the point where you've introduced the characters and you've got it so the story goes along, the protagonist, the boy meets a girl, they fall in love, the villain is conquered, and you take a look and you've got 300 words. So all you have left is 49,700 words to go. What do? Well, here's the key. What you do is you weave in a secondary plot. So we have the file cabinet. Joe got together with Betty, the other pretty file cabinet, and they've conquered the horrible villain, the office worker, who keeps stuffing them with files. So now that you have that story, you can weave in a subplot. Joe always noticed the what are those things that move boxes? Let's just call them box movers. Notice the box movers always going past him in the office. But one day, the box mover was crying. And I'm not talking about the person who moves the box. I'm talking about the inanimate object that actually moves. I'll come up with the name eventually, but that's not for me to worry about now. I'll find out in the dictionary what the official word is for that thing that moves boxes. So, but one day, the box mover was crying. Joe noticed the box mover was crying. So Joe asked, "What gives? Shut up already." And then the box mover says, "See, you're coming up with lots more words now. This whole story." And then you have this whole story with how Joe helps the box mover out throughout, different chapters. Just kind of weave them in every other chapter. Now, maybe this looks silly and stuff, and it sounds like I'm just reciting funny things, but the truth is, these are really workable, usable techniques. So definitely use them. Start off your sentence going just once upon a time and just go from there. If you get stuck and bored, just have something wacky fall in. You gotta have a monkey wrench. I tend to be good at coming up with non sequiturs, and those always help. But if you want to find some monkey wrench to toss in there, either use the term monkey wrench, or you open the dictionary to random page, find the nearest noun, and that's what's coming up in your next chapter. Because you're so bored, now you got to incorporate this pumpkin in the chapter somehow. So these are ways to get the story moving, and then finally at the end, when you've only got a few words on for the whole book, and now you've got to come up with a few more thousand words, then you interweave some more subplots. You develop the characters more. You find out what's really behind their purpose and their meaning, and they're doing all these things off-scene that maybe are very interesting and builds their characters. Have a great writing time. See you next time.